I've been doing this for 11 years. I've never seen 77 houses on the market in 95124.
Buyers tend to live in the present. Sellers tend to live in the past.
At $699, I was the cheapest single-family home in all of San Jose.
1 out of every 4 first-time home buyers are single women.
Look at Lake Tahoe and the market there right now.
Yeah.
They're offloading to get out of California.
There's like a wealth transfer going on from like generic tech to like tech focused in AI.
We are live. Jason, why don't you tell everybody where we're at?
Yeah, we're at 16371 Aztec Ridge. It seems like a uphill drive, but it's actually only about 6 minutes from downtown Los Gatos.
But it is uphill.
It is up the hill. But as we discussed, to get views like this in Los Gatos,
Yeah, you gotta drive a little.
you gotta drive a little bit.
Yeah.
It would be similar to the bird streets of Hollywood.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
Thank you, adjacent Josh Altman.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Josh, good to see you in Cabo, man.
Yeah, so we're up here. So let's jump into the listing first. I know you and Ben have worked really, really hard on that, on this over the last few months. So since we're up here enjoying the beautiful views and this great home, why don't you guys tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, so a couple months ago, we were able to secure this listing, worked with the seller on getting the property fully dialed in on the inside before going active. They lived in here since 2013 and are headed to Texas.
Okay.
Perched above the city of Los Gatos.
Mm-hmm.
Views to the Embarcadero on a clear day.
Okay.
5-bedroom, 4 baths, just under 5,500 square feet.
2.5 acres.
Nice.
Just
Beautiful
under two.
pool that I accidentally walked into before we got started.
I think that is my favorite feature of pools, to be
The
honest.
walk-in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
like
do they
that
call
too.
that?
Beach entry.
Okay.
I love the 70-foot slide.
Yeah, you know that slide has 3 different features, so if you don't want to go as fast, you can go a little slower.
Yeah, it has speeds.
Ah.
Yeah.
You know what amazes me the most every time I see views like this is the fact that you can see the hangar up at Moffett.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just don't realize how huge some of those planes are that they work on.
Yeah.
And
Well, also the thing that I'm most aware of is that obviously we're in Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
right? We're in a valley. And so because of that, as you see mountains all the way around us, we will always be limited in the number of homes that we can build. And because of that, our prices more so than, parts of Southern California, Texas, Nevada, where it's just flat and they can continue to build forever. We're always limited here on land. And because of that, I think our prices will always continue to be, price per square foot high or higher than just about anywhere else in the United States.
so I have a hot take.
Okay.
When you're driving 280 on the way to San Francisco from San Jose, there's a lot of land on the left side.
Towards like Half Moon Bay and all that.
Half Moon Bay, there's that reservoir.
Sure.
That's expensive area.
Yep.
Does there come a point in time, 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, where they loosen that up and they would potentially allow for homes to be built?
I think it depends. I think if Open Space owns it, right? It depends who owns
That's
the
who
land.
does own it.
Okay. I think if Open Space owns it, probably not, right? Which is, if you go, south in South San Jose towards Morgan Hill, Open Space owns a majority of that land, and I don't foresee that being touched for the next 20 to 30 years.
But in my opinion, it is a conflict of interest a little bit when you have, quote unquote, a housing shortage. You're making people do all of these things. You're going up. You're basically not able to have a KB home development of
Right.
single family homes, 1 or 2 story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they're doing on Communications Hill.
Yep.
But then the governments allow open space.
Yeah.
So at what point is there a give and a take, or there's tons of land but it's zoned agricultural, right? Especially in South San Jose.
Yeah, I think the give and take is that they're going to continue to change the zoning to allow for more high density housing in residential neighborhoods, right? There is a development going on right now, right across the street from Santa Teresa High School. It's been in the works forever. And so now you're going to have all this traditional residential property, single story or 2-story in some case, single family homes. And now you're going to have, it's like 40 or 50 units that are going to be right there across the street from the high school, which overlook a lot of these residential backyards. So imagine, you have your swimming pool, you have no rear neighbor, and then all of a sudden you have a 4-story or 5-story, apartment complex, and now they're looking down on you while they're swimming. And so that's the give and the take. Is they're shoehorning it in to places that are already zoned residential.
But then they're as excited as people want to be for a new big grocery store, which respectfully is the same as all the other Whole Foods grocery stores ish. There's not even parking. So forget the housing for a second. Now you're building all the infrastructure because you need bigger grocery stores, but now you can't park. So now you have to walk across the street, park at a different old grocery store to walk across the street, carry your shopping bag. It's a disaster. It's like this isn't being thought out, and we have the space, but it's deemed open space.
Well, I think is you brought up an interesting point, but when's the last time you've been in a grocery store?
I just have to hear about the grocery stores.
Got it. Okay. Well, anyway, appreciate the hot take. Jason, Ben, property just went live on the market yesterday. So I'm assuming open houses this weekend. Obviously, we're filming content here today. Aaron's going down the slide at the end of this, I heard. And so addition to the square footage, talk to us about some of the amenities.
Yeah, so we'll start with I'll start in the house. So lives like a 1-story, so all your main living is on top.
Okay.
Formal dining, your family room, kitchen, and then all the bedrooms are kind of tucked away on one side of the house. Views everywhere. Then there's essentially a downstairs game room.
Okay.
So they had a pool table, ping pong, pinball, those kind of things, movie theater, and then there's an outdoor shower here, and then another more or less like a pool bathroom.
Okay.
That's
a cabana room or something.
Yeah, that has floors kind of made to get wet and messy.
Nice.
Then
Ensuite downstairs comes with its own living room,
Correct.
which I think is pretty cool. I know a lot of these homes, they just come with the bedroom, so this gives you the opportunity to have a full living quarter.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then outside you got outdoor barbecue and kitchen set up there. You got the pool behind us.
Yeah, everything in this backyard was designed to be like their retreat and getaway. So I know the camera's not going to be able to see it, but all the rocks and everything were imported from Florida and overseas. These are all movie rocks, supposed to withstand weather and heat and temperatures. The same with the flooring, the type of flooring you'll find at water parks, just to make sure it doesn't deteriorate or overheat the feet. But it leads from your pool to beach walking, which David experienced, to the sand barbecue. And over to the left is their own boardwalk that she built that leads up to a vantage point that pretty much looks over the entire city. So that's kind of her little getaway.
Nice. And then did I see maybe a putting green or
Yeah.
something around here as well?
Yeah, putting green in the back. There's a big turf area that has poles for volleyball or soccer or whatever you want to put the net up for.
Okay.
Gardening bed area kind of over by the driveway, 3-car garage.
Full solar on the roof with a 64-panel farm in the back, which will
Nice.
take care of pretty much everything here. But it just lives. It lives like you're in the mountains with the view, but you have all the same city, water, sewer. You have easy access to garbage and pickup. And
So great question. So you're not on a well,
not on a well.
and you're not on sewer. I'm sorry, and you're not on septic.
We do have septic.
Yeah.
False. Yes, we
Okay.
have 2 new septic tanks that were just installed.
Perfect. But city water, obviously PG&E.
Yeah, there is fiber, which I know is a big thing for
Yeah.
families in tech. This whole area is.
And-
you want to talk about the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And my cell phone still gets service.
That's right.
That's right.
And then 3 battery packs underneath the house. So all the solar panel charges these battery packs. So if the house, you were to lose power for whatever reason,
Yep.
your house is still going to run.
Fantastic. All right. And current starting asking price is
6298.
6298. All right.
Yeah. And how far from Los Gatos downtown?
6 minutes.
Fantastic.
I can see it from here.
You can see it from here.
you can watch your game.
Yeah,
directly from here.
Other cool things. Levi Stadium is right over. Levi Stadium is right over here to the right. They're saying on game day you can see the fireworks, and then the jets will come by kind of at eye level for the flyover.
That's
as well.
pretty cool.
So pretty
All
cool.
right. So if you guys have any interest in touring it, come by this weekend or reach out to Jason and Ben for more information.
Yeah.
So this is so now kind of transitioning into stats. This is one of the 1,160 homes that are currently for sale in Santa Clara County. We continue to trend up. I think we all agree that we'll probably peak in June or somewhere like that. But, you guys that work with buyers quite a bit, what's the buyer, vibe right now? Are they waiting? to, are they waiting for more inventory to come up? Are they still worried about the conflict overseas and gas prices and job layoffs? Or are they now seeing some opportunities because days on market are increasing, price reductions are increasing, that sort of thing? What are you guys seeing out there?
I've written about 4 offers in the last week for buyers, and I'm seeing a lot of standoffs between what buyers want to pay and what the sellers are expecting.
So there's a gap.
So there's a little bit of a gap. It could be as low as $25K or as large as $100,000. So the sellers' expectations haven't simmered since earlier this year, and buyers are obviously looking at their stock market portfolios and looking at the uncertainties with job, war, and just inflation in general. Gas prices are on the rise, and they're coming up with numbers that are lower than the comps, which they can afford to pay at in this current environment, and it's significantly under what the sellers are expecting.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something that's really relevant, especially in our market. Buyers tend to live in the present, sellers tend to live in the past, right? Sellers are looking at comps, which is 30, 60, 90, 120 days prior, where buyers are reacting to their portfolio, to what they're hearing in the job market, to the current conflict overseas. Excuse me. And so, one of the things I think we always try to educate our sellers on is you don't chase the market down, right? When you start to see things flatten out or dip, it's important as a seller to get ahead of the market. Otherwise, if you chase it down, ultimately you're going to end up selling for a lot less than what you could have if you adjusted sooner.
Do you see that? I know you have a pretty large scope of buyer pools. The buyers, and Aaron and I think, and Jason were talking about this the other day in our office, but do you see the difference between the first-time home buyer under $2 million and just the level of certainty they have in their stock portfolios and their jobs, whether or not they've been in it? Usually first-time home buyers not as long as a seasoned employee, compared to the $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, where, like you're saying, we're now seeing much more cash offers and more certainty kind of going in it from them.
Absolutely. I have a client looking in that $4 to $6 million range, and they're moving very differently compared to the people that are looking between that 1 to 2 million range. Like, I think 3+ is a different category, and 3 and under is a different category. I think there's a mix of both of those categories between that 2 to 3 range. But yeah, the higher end buyers are more savvy. They're making more money in this current environment, especially as there's a shift there's like a wealth transfer going on from like generic tech to like tech focused in AI. So those buyers are really savvy out there that have made a lot of money in the last year or two, and they are looking to capitalize on this opportunity to get into something high end, but at the same time they want something perfect and something turnkey, maybe new construction. They want that perfect location, right? So they're not jumping on stuff. They're still being picky, but they have the money to make that move relatively quickly compared to that $1 to $2 million buyer.
So a real life situation, Ben, would be my clients purchased up the peninsula, close to San Francisco, got a job relocation, had to go back to work. They were remote for COVID. They bought in January. We all know kind of what was going on in January. Very limited inventory. It was kind of back to where we were 2025. Limited inventory, rates had dropped down, big uptick. Houses were going significantly over list price, right? Fast forward to today, here we are in April. We're going to sell that house in Cambrian. That house that we were saying when they bought was $2 million that they're budgeting to buy their new house that they ended up buying. Now I'm saying, hey, your house is 1.7, right? So we're on the market at 1.7, which is a 10+% drop, right? And all of the data we're looking at is lagging indicators, right? So March was a little bit hotter than April, and February was hotter than March, right? So on and so forth. So can anyone guess how many houses are on the market in 95124 right now?
Yeah, there's probably
40.
Close to 80, I want to say.
Good. 77. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've never seen 77 houses on the market in 95124, single family only, right? So now more than ever, buyers at that price range have the ability to be selective. They haven't been able to be selective like this forever, right? I mean, maybe like 2009 to 2011.
So what was the pricing strategy then behind
So-
buying it? So say the story again. So they purchased.
So
$2
they
million
purchased
January.
in
January for 2.
January for 1.9. That was listed around 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the conversation was like, okay, well, there's multiples on everything. We just got to do it.
Yeah.
Was this turnkey or did they need work?
It was turnkey. It's a beautiful property. It has some amazing features, but it was supposed to go hand in hand with the fact that we were going to sell. However, we had tenants in the property, so we couldn't get on the market till April, right?
Gotcha.
So now I'm telling someone, hey, it was bonkers for you, but now all of the data, to your point, are lagging indicators. The market isn't what it was,
Yeah.
right? But I don't have data to support that other than saying, hey, our team sells the most amount of houses out of anyone in this whole valley, right?
So what was to price lower, get foot traffic?
So I went lower. So I'm at 1.698, and I'm fighting skin, tooth, nail just to get anywhere in the 1.9s,
Yeah.
right? So the worst thing you can do is overprice. The good thing is we have some sort of leverage, and people are still coming through the door. You had a busy open house. You helped me with it.
Do you
But
think looking at it back now and seeing how many homes are on the market, pricing it more transparently, even though it might have taken an extra 2 weeks, and if you get lowballed, it still might be in that 1.9 to 2 million range, would that have been something that would have been thought about now?
it's
at
an
this point?
option, right? But to overprice is a death sentence. We all know that, right? But with some sort of leverage creates some sort of opportunity. I personally would rather be lower and counter higher and explain the situation. I think a lot of transactions fall apart due to agents not being able to communicate with one another and explain what's going on to their client.
Yeah. And
But to be at 2, then I have no showings, no activity, no open house, no nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas at least if I'm getting quote unquote bad offers, it's showing me and my seller
What the market's
what the
willing to
market is
spend.
saying, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Bitcoin right now is $30,000, would you buy it?
Well, yeah.
Of course, right? If it's $120,000, would you buy it?
No.
But someone last year did. They thought it was worth $120,000, right? So it doesn't, just because I price it low doesn't mean that's what it's worth. It's worth 1.7 today, but next month we're maybe back up to 1.95. So hanging on, writing it out, and coming up with a clear-cut strategy now more than ever is super important.
Yeah, I actually took one of the pages out of Aaron's book and dropped the price 300,000 on one of my listings.
Because we wanted to
Create leverage
And?
maximize exposure and turn heads. That's right.
Well, tell the story. So we're in the office. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
You were listed at what?
I was listed at 998, and I was like, "Hey, we're getting activity, but there's no urgency in the buyer's mind, right? Like, no one's even giving me a lowball offer. Like, it was just the activity is quite dead in the water. And then I come into the office. I'm like, "Hey, boys, what do you think I should do?" Aaron goes, $699.
No, you said $799.
I said
And then-
$799.
and then, in your head's down, and Aaron goes, "No, $699." And you go like this. What? He goes, see? Turned your head.
Turned your head. Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, whether I go $699 or $799 won't make that big of a difference. It's still, significantly under asking,
Right.
under what we, need. But at $699, I was the cheapest single family home in all of San Jose. I got blown up by the whole town. My phone was constantly ringing. I had showings out the door. It was great. And obviously there was a lot of people that were like, "Hey, I'm looking for a townhome or a condo at 700. I saw this come up at 700, and this looks like a great deal." Obviously, we want all offers on the table, so we generated a few offers, and then the realistic buyer out there stepped up to the occasion, and we're pending close to the million that we were originally.
Attaboy.
So
And
job.
shout out to my boy Ben, who I hate giving any props to. He stayed in the pocket this past week, dodging, dipping, diving, and was able to get a bad. I thought he was never going to get near that price, but he got a bad sale for that property over there.
Shout out to my clients who stayed confident with us.
Yeah.
I think, again, if you're a seller and you're hiring us, you have to put confidence in us. Positivity and confidence we can work off of, and it creates a, I would say, a positive outcome.
Yeah.
And I think when there's negativity around it, it hinders everything that comes in. You can feel it. So I'm, very appreciative.
My word of the month is alignment.
Alignment.
Got to be in alignment
Gotta be
with your
aligned.
clients in this market. It's bobbing, it's weaving. Stock market came back. This is the first weekend we had a good open houses in like the last month.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask a question now real quick. So we talked about the buyers. Obviously, you guys have a lot of listings. You have a lot of listings. We're all starting to get a lot of listings. There's 80 listings in Cambrian. 2 years ago, 3-4 years ago, everyone refinanced to a 2.5, 3. Where are people going right now? Why are they?
You say 2.5 or 3, you're talking interest rate?
Interest rates. Yeah. So where are people going? And do you see, I don't know if you guys ask questions like this, but do you see those interest rates that they're moving out of in the 2.5s, or are these people who bought after?
Yeah, it's mostly life events, and now it's not really 3 or 4 years. Now it's 4 to 5 years ago that we saw those, right? So I think we talked about this a few episodes ago. We're finally at the point now where more people have, more homeowners that carry mortgages have an interest rate over 6% than below 4%, right? And so most of our stuff, I mean, it's life events, right? It's, losing the ability to do remote work, or G talked
closer to grandchildren.
Yeah, or G talked about that wealth transfer. So we're seeing a lot of people that had trusts and estates set up that have passed away. So now the kids and the beneficiaries are selling. Job relocation. Yeah. And there's still, and this is actually a good segue, still a lot of people just getting out of California, right? June. Well, I just let the cat out of the bag. But June 2nd is our next election, right, for the state of California. I don't know if you guys know that or not. I encourage everybody to vote, because whether there is a specific housing bill on the ballot or not, almost every ballot initiative affects housing either directly or indirectly. One of the big initiatives that will be coming up this time around is the billionaire's tax. All right, so, they're trying to do that out in New York right now. They're trying to do it in California, where basically they're going to say, hey, if your net worth is over $1 billion, then whatever that net worth is, we're going to tax you a one-time 5% tax. And it's supposed to go to help offset the federal cutback of Medicare, Medi-Cal spending. In my opinion, any tax like that is detrimental to the housing market. If you look at, these billionaires, and, we're in a capitalist society. God bless them. Right? If you look at the money that they donate through philanthropy, if you look at what their corporations pay in taxes, the jobs that are created because of them, I think it's a horrible idea. And in fact, even Gavin Newsom, who's our current governor, is against it as well.
Am I overthinking that, or if you're worth $1 billion right now, can you start offloading a bunch of money into different?
They already are.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Look at Lake Tahoe and the market there right now. Yeah. You think they want to buy a $60 million house in Tahoe? No, they're offloading to get out of California.
Yeah, and Nevada. I mean, all of Nevada, especially the high-end stuff. Sergey from, one of the founders of Google just left. There were a bunch of, a handful of billionaires that left before the deadline, because if the law passed, or the ballot measure passed, they would have been taxed.
If people think the billionaire's tax is good, they are ignorant to how the economy works for the state. To get rid of billionaires is a terrible idea. I understand, no one should have, quote unquote, $1 billion in some people's mind, but why don't you focus on the high-speed rail that's cost $40 billion? There's so many things that you can cover up instead. But I get it. Attack the people who already have. They're way smarter and way more prepared than all of us. You think they're not going to offload? It's just silly. But wait, I wanted to touch on one thing before we went down that. I've actually seen something different with where people are going that I'm listing their houses. A lot of people are renting, because they maybe bought houses in areas that they wouldn't have. Now they're going back to work, or now they have 3 kids as opposed to 0 kids. They're in COVID. And now they're like, oh my God, I just want to simplify my life. Oh, God bless it. I had a 2.5% rate and now it's a 6. And I don't really think the house is worth $13,000, and I could make more money if I just take the equity out, so on and so forth. So they're just renting, simplifying their life, and going to reevaluate. So back to billionaires.
Yeah. So now on the opposite side of that, we were talking earlier about first-time home buyers, right? And our market, a $690,000 or $700,000 home, downtown San Jose, which is probably 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, it's actually 900 square feet.
Yeah, so 900 square feet for $1 million. It is a challenge for our first-time home buyers out there, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to weigh in on this. So currently, first-time home buyers, obviously made up of single people, married people, whatever. What percentage of first-time home buyers are single women make up?
53%.
In California?
This is nationwide.
I want to say way more than men.
No.
I think it's more than men.
I think it's more than men. They seem much
Women
more.
in the nation?
Okay, so right now,
I'm a feminist.
single women
85%.
make up one out of every 4 transactions, or 25%. So right now, 1 out of every 4 first-time home buyers are single women.
Huh.
Wow. 1 out of 4?
1 out of 4 first-time home buyers are single
Where?
women.
Okay, so the last time you said something like this, I got stat checked and I couldn't find where it came from. Where did you find this information?
National Association of Realtors.
Okay.
NAR.
Yep, NAR. This is a
Now it's not on me.
nationwide, first-time home buyers only, right? Not all transactions, but first-time of all the buyers that are first-time home buyers, women make up 1 out of 4 transactions, and men make up, single men,
0.
18%.
Losers.
10%.
10.
These women don't need men. Girl, dad.
They don't, right? And
That's
so
pretty bad.
Yeah, and so shout out to
Shout
the
out,
single
Wayne.
women that are out there doing it. Women are also graduating college at a higher percentage than men. Shout out to the single women buying homes at a faster pace than single men.
What's the number one place you think San Jose sellers are moving to? I just read this recently. What are your guesses? Within our area. They're moving from San Jose. They're moving to another part. Where do you think they're moving to?
Well, not Cambrian. Everybody's selling over there.
With
Sunnyvale.
Sorry, within the city? Within the
Within
county?
city
No,
limits?
within
county?
California.
What's the question?
Oh, within California.
They're moving. They're selling in San Jose, and they're moving to another city.
Sacramento.
Yeah, I would say
Elk
up-
Grove.
Yeah, like Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln.
Roseville, El Dorado Hills.
You're right. Sacramento is the number one
Yeah.
spot.
yeah.
So I had both my last 2 sales. Both of them went to Lincoln.
Sacramento.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's-
One of
It's,
those is mine.
Well, and we talked to a guy today. What was he doing? He was older dude, been in his house a long time. Was like, hey, we're gonna sell this thing, moving with my kids for a little bit, and then look at moving to Vegas.
Hell yeah. Although I never lived with my kids. I just rent until I was ready to move
I
to
was
Vegas.
like, hey, God bless you, sir.
I lived with my kids for 18 plus years. I don't need to live with them anymore.
Yeah, he goes, they live with me for so long, they kind of owe me.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, sir.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing we're seeing too. For a reason for selling is downsizing.
Yeah.
Right. I over off Highway 17 in Hamilton. I went on a listing appointment last week, and it's it's a husband and wife. Kids are grown.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we don't need all this house, right? And let's take that equity and go live somewhere else.
Or we're seeing kind of east side. So probably, so one listing right now, appointment on Monday, and then another one I think we have on Friday. They're, longtime east side, like, McKee, Alum Rock, Country Club people, whatever. Their first home was, they're 3.2, 1,300 square feet, whatever. They rented it back like in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they're starting to get rid of those things. So that's also kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Tenants are usually month to month,
Yep.
severely under rented, and they're just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. I'm going to put it in like a CD or some sort of like.
I mean, some of them are putting it to the next place that they want to go. They're going
or
buy
that.
it, rent it out for their
then
2
move
years,
into
and
it.
then move into it.
So,
When
That's smart.
Any update on capital gains tax going to $1 million?
It's not
Got
going,
shot down?
It's not going anywhere.
Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just like they try to do that every year, or increase the SALT deductions, or get rid of Prop 13.
They
I
sure
don't
as
think-
hell increased the gas tax $4 across the river in Arizona and $7 in California, and not one person can tell us
And
why.
Aaron's cars only take premium.
All right. Well, anything else before we wrap, boys? I mean, I know we got.
I have one more thing.
All right, we got another movie night coming in May.
Supergirl.
Supergirl. Speaking of, girl power, we got Supergirl coming up at end of May, and I'm sure we have all the other summer stuff coming up too. What do you got here?
So the situation is house is worth $2 million.
Okay.
You want to downsize. You owe nothing on your property.
Uh-huh.
You're 60 years old.
Uh-huh.
You want to stay in the Bay Area. The next house you buy is probably around $2 million.
Okay.
What happens to you when you sell your property? Are you getting hit with capital gains at 1.5? Are you able to transfer anything? Are you like what does that look like?
Well, first of all, as real estate agents and brokers,
We are not
allowed
tax
to-
professionals.
Yeah, so consult.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, consult your accountant or CPA. But yeah, I mean, obviously depends on what they acquired the property for, right?
In this case, they bought it for $500.
Yeah, so you're going to get a $500,000 exclusion on capital gains.
So that leaves us with $1 million.
And then you're going to be able to factor in repairs, commissions, closing costs, improvements to help offset some of that. But yeah, I mean, they are looking at a pretty significant tax hit.
That to me is so asinine.
But being 60 years old, they are going to be able to take that property tax with them and move it over to that next spot they purchased.
Well, yeah, they'll have that benefit, but to your point,
that's it.
But to your point,
beggars can't
We
be
got all these
choosers,
people
right?
running for governor, and no one can figure out how we can take care of these older people who have been here and have gotten equity.
Well, and the challenge though is it's a state and federal tax, right? So the state could increase the limits, which would help some, but until the federal government increases that as well, then it's going to be problematic. And it does suck because home prices continue to appreciate, right? Which is why every year Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac increases the loan limits, right, to go with inflation and appreciation. But we are definitely stuck at $500,000 for a married couple, $250,000 if you're or $250,000 if you're single, which the Midwest, fine. Right, you could have a home for 10 years and you don't get $500,000 worth of equity. But here, it happens all the time, and it traps a lot of these homes from ever selling.
Well, and is that a reason why they're now rezoning schools? And is because people are just staying for too long and they can't get out and people can't get in, or because we have to build so many homes to make room for inventory for people?
Well, it's a reason why we're seeing school population decline, right? Because you raised a family in this home, 3, 4 kids, 5 kids, whatever, they've moved on. Now you're an empty nester, but you have all this equity trapped in there that you can't do anything with. And so, yeah, we're seeing school closures, which ultimately will see school rezonings into housing, which will then bring in new kids. And then now we're going to have schools that are impacted because they're overcrowded because we closed a bunch of schools.
Yep, because we have absolutely zero concept of budget, and no one wants people to be rich.
But shout out to the one guy who you guys met the other day that watches our podcast
Kevin.
every week.
Kevin!
We appreciate you, Kev.
Shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to
who
Kev.
said he's been watching us for years. We're selling. So he's a contractor. He bought a flip property over in Santa Teresa on Benbow, which is not too far off of Blossom, kind of over by Oak Ridge High School, and did a great job. Did an extension, a little over 1,600 square feet. And when I met him last week, Jacob and I met him last week, and he said, I've been watching you guys for years.
Maybe if we ever do one of those live podcasts at Double D's, Kevin,
Call in.
first meal's on us, baby.
And it's not all doomsday. I just received 10 offers today, broke another record in 95136. That's why I'm the number 1 on the team 3 years in a row, baby. We'll see you. Peace out. Number 1.
He's humble bragging, but
Respectfully.
yeah. Respectfully, Aaron is the humblest one on our team.
And as always, when choosing your real estate agents, who you work with matters.
Ben copies literally everything I do. David shops.
We're
where I
spiraling.
shop.
Yeah, we're spiraling. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Remember that.
Well, I don't want.
That's why you.
We're outta here.
That's why you re-got your hair.
See ya.